Yo, yo, yo. My name is Matthew, aka EZBOT, and today we're going to learn how to construct a hybrid performance template. I'm kind of using this time as a bit of work progress time, so to speak. I'm using this stream where I'd be doing something that I commit to my Patreon, but I'm just going to do it live with you and go rather quickly. I'll answer questions, but you can kind of see the process of what goes on when I build a performance template on the Octatrack. This one, I have some new ideas. I'm incorporating more transcating. Well, or that was more of the ultimate effects. Regardless, I'm incorporating a bit of like hyper effects, some classic DJ effects, and then the ability to have 4 tracks on your Octatrack still be usable. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut the Octatrack in half. One half of the Octatrack is going to process audio, including the audio that's living inside the Octatrack, but also your external audio. So you can use use this template that I'm going to be constructing today. We may not complete it. It's a huge project, but we'll get the engine of it running, and you can see how that functions. And then from there, you could kind of go off on your own and make your own template. Or you can, of course, join my Patreon and download all the other projects and templates that I have there. But I love the idea of being completely transparent about my work, and, you know, that whole teach a man to fish type scenario where I'm going to show you how to do it. If you want to get my work, you can buy my work. Otherwise, let me just show you how to do it for free and do whatever you want. So without further ado, let's dive into the Octatrack. This is a very deep dive, so bear with me. Here we go. We got an Octatrack. We got a Polar today instead of a LaCroix, because that's just happened to be what I had. Orange, it's the creamsicle flavor. It's a good one. Okay, so let me show you what I have so far. We're going to start from scratch though, but I have already started this project, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this on stream and let everybody watch me do this, and hopefully I can finish a good chunk of it within like a 2-hour period. So this will be a long stream, and it's going to be full of crazy stuff. So currently what's going on is I can hit play, and you can hear that my music is playing. This is actually coming from the Dig-Attack to Digatone. It's running through this 4x4 hybrid performance template. So 4 tracks of effects, 4 tracks of sample playback. And this is the beginning of the template. And right now the effects I have in it are a clean version of what was in hyper effects. So beat juggling effects, they live resample. Let me show you something cool. If I go into track 5 and we just go in and like listen to a sample like this loop, we can hear this loop. This loop is actually playing through the Digatone. This is not playing in the Octatrack. It's coming out the Q output, running into my Digatone, going through the through input left and right, which I have in stereo mode. It's maxed all the way up. This is not really a volume here. This is just a dry wet mix. And then I have that running back into my Octatrack, but these tracks, they're not muted. Their track level is all the way down and their Q level is all the way up, and I have them queued in studio mode. We're going to go through this project. You're going to watch me do this in a second. But right now I'm just showing you how this functions so you can get an idea of what you're in for, so to speak. So if I was to hit play and then audition this with one of these effects running, you can hear that it's processing the audio. It's beat juggling that, even though those effects live on this side of the Octatrack. So this is just an idea of how this functions, and I'm going to show you a lot of my best practices. I'll talk it through to the best of my ability. I'm gonna go quickly because it takes so long to do these projects that I don't like to dilly-dally. When I know how to do something, I execute. If you have questions, post them in the chat. I'll try and get to them. Yeah. So that's going to be how this functions. I'm going to go to a new part. We'll go to part 2, and we'll do this from scratch over here. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is change your pattern settings. So we want to make sure we're on a per track mode, which I already am because I started this project earlier. I'm going to have the scale of this template. It could be at a master of 16. This all depends on how I feel in the end. Right now, I'm going to leave it at 16/16 because the way this template is going to function, the way this template Well, I guess we want it to be longer because we're doing hybrid. So these effects, we'll do 4 bars. And then people can change the length of their master if they want later, once this template is released. Because I will complete this and release this. So we'll have the master at 64, but our track scale we'll leave at 1 bar just for working. I always work in 1 bar at first and kind of like build out and excavate more steps of my pattern as I need them for my project. So this is fine. I am in studio mode. Let me show you what this is. So we go to control, we go to audio. If we set our Q config to studio mode, what happens is you'll see 2 audio bars. We have our track level, which is a dry wet mix of the actual audio on the track. And then we have a Q level, which is a dry wet mix of what's coming out of the Q output. So what I want to do on this side, which is all static tracks, and I'm going to leave them as static tracks. If you want to use flex tracks, you put in flex tracks. But I think static tracks are just fine. Whenever you want to record, turn it into a flex track, assign it to the correct recording buffer, and go on. But I think static tracks are just fine for just loading your samples in and messing with them, and I think that's a great way to use the Octatrack too. So it's very simple to convert. Unless people argue that I should just do flex tracks, I don't know. What do y'all think? Should I just make them flex tracks and assign the recording buffers and save everybody the hassle? Or are we all going to just use flex tracks anyway? Or should we use static tracks? Static tracks can play 2 gigabyte files. A static track can play back your entire set. You know, you could have your entire set on 1 static track and just have that play, and then just process effects on the Octatrack if you wanted. A flex track can't do that. And I just want to, keep that in mind, that when you make those decisions about what kind of track you want to use, you can do really long samples on static and not so much on flex. So what do you think? Static for the aspiring DJ? It is a hybrid performance template, so this would be really good for aspiring DJs. And I do think that if you're using these particular performance templates, like something like the hybrid template, then maybe you do want to know a decent amount about your Octatrack so that you can use it to the best of your ability. Let's leave it as static tracks then. We only got 1 person responding to that, so I'm going to go with statics. Cool, here we go. We're going to leave it as static tracks, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the track level of 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to bring them all down to silence. I don't want to hear these tracks. I want their Q to be at their max level, Q to be at the max level, volume at 0, Q to be the max level, volume at 0. And now these tracks only run out my Q output, which is being routed back into my digatone, which is then being routed back into my Octatrack. Okay? That's the chain, audio chain here. It could go into my digatact, it could go into my digatone, it could go into something else. As long as the audio gets brought back into inputs A, B, C, and D in stereo, everything is chill, and we can do whatever we want on tracks 5 through 8, and still have access to all the effects that I'm going to make on this bus. The reason why this is important is because you can't put effects on... You can't make a stack of effects and run your external audio through it and all your tracks through it at the same time and have this big cool master bus without doing exactly the process that I'm showing you today. All right, so let's get started with like building the effects out. I might start with the hyper effects as far as like the deeper stuff goes, because it's the most complicated to build, and I'm going to do it really fast. And I just want to kind of get it out of the way because it causes... The order of operations is so important with it, and missing one of the operations causes like lack of audio and causes frustration for me, and doing that live on stream and being frustrated is not something I'm very interested in. So I'm going to go over to track 1. We're going to turn this into a through track because we're going to bring audio into the Octatrack. I'm going to set its track level at 127. I'm going to bring its, oh, that's the master. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to bring its Q level down to 0. We're going to set it to inputs A, B, C, D, and plus 63. Whoa, I don't want that. That is because there is that feedback loop. We'll have to deal with that later. And plus 63. And I believe that that is because we're getting a feedback loop because these are, because we don't have that set up with the Q out yet. Anyway, we'll get that figured out in a second. Cool. Let's go ahead and go here. I'm going to bring this, make this a neighbor track. This is going to be a neighbor track, and this is going to be a flex track. I'm going to assign its recording buffer to track 4 and track level, Q level all the way down. Sure, the Q level is all the way down, track level is all the way up, track level is all the way up, Q level is all the way down. And cool. Oh, one of them was slightly lower. And what we want to do on this track is we want to have length to time turned on, slice off, loop on, rate to time stretch, and time stretch set to normal. Or time stretch set to beat. Beat is actually a good idea, and I haven't really futzed with that too much. That's not a bad idea. We want to turn this into, or assign it to its recording buffer, which we have. Set our record length to 64, turn off these inputs, and target track 3. Because track 3 is going to be the output of this audio right here. So we want to mangle the audio here. So the first thing we got to do is change this track length. It's already set to 4. Oh, right, because we just changed parts. So let me just tell you what I was doing originally, because I had already done some of this. We want to have our track length set to 4 because what's going to happen is that this recorder, and I have the sequence is already set up. I'll delete this so we can just go through that process again, and I'll make it 16 so we can actually discuss this. So what I want to do is I want to shrink this track down to 4 steps so that it repeats playback every 4 steps, but then I want to change the length of the sample time and loop the sample. So it keeps repeating that sample playback every quarter note, but the playback might be playing it back at 1/8 notes. So it'd be like jet, 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 but it's grabbing every 4 steps, or every 4/16 notes, or every quarter note. And that creates that beat juggling. So it's resampling it, stuttering it, but then it keeps resampling and grabbing new moments in time. What we want to do is put down a playback trigger, but we want to micro time it a little bit past the recorder trigger we're going to put down. I'm going to do, like +2 about for now. +2, you can't notice it. I'm going to go into my record setup. If you go function rec1, your record setup lets you access the recorder trig setup, and I'm just going to put a recorder trig down. And then what we want to do is bring the amp level to -64, and I want to create my first scene, and we're going to call this section juggle. So juggle is going to have 4 effects. It's going to be 4 beat juggling effects, and then we're going to do some beat repeats here, kind of like, or do I want to have that many juggle effects? I kind of do, at least 3. Maybe we'll do 3 juggle effects. No, I think we need 4. I'll figure out what I want to do with the beat repeats. Okay, so let's assign them. What I want to do is make my first effect. I'm going to bring this track to X level minimum, but on this track, we're actually going to use the amplifier, and we're going to bring this up to 0 so that you can't screw it up later. This is something I recommend you do when you're making effects of this particular type. So we've already got something going on here. So let's go in and mess with the length of time. Let's set it to like 2, and let's see what that sounds like. So this track length is too long. That's why you can hear what it's doing, right? Grabbing audio, stuttering it if I change this length. This is live audio, like if I change this song, or add some more elements. Right? It's already pretty cool, but if I change this track length to 4, okay, we got our first effect. We're going to leave these effects clean. I'm not going to dirty them up until later, maybe. Maybe this whole first section will just be for the clean DJ. Maybe we'll call the section clean. That's actually a good name for the section of parts and effects. And the way that you want to use these templates is you can have the Octatrack be your master. I mean, I guess in the hybrid template, you actually want this to be your master clock. While I'm designing this, it's receiving clock, and that's just because I use the Octatrack on a clock receiving basis typically. But once you actually do this yourself, your Octatrack will be your master. You will be sending that out. And what's really great about that is that beat repeat juggle effects like this, these beat stuttering effects, they work better when the Octatrack is a master. And that's because there's MIDI jitter, and when MIDI jitter changes the speed during playback as a record trigger is happening, sometimes the Octatrack will miss the recorder trig. And that's actually why when I was in this section sorry, not that section. When I was on my playback trigger on this track, I micro-timed it 2 steps instead of just 1 step. Is because I wanted just a fraction more time to make up for MIDI jitter. The more I space it out, the more time difference it'll make up for MIDI jitter, but it will also give me more access to some other effects, like being able to change and make the pitch go up a little bit. The longer I give it before it plays back the sample, the more I'm able to destroy the sample, but the further it is from it feeling like it's on time on the beat. So the sacrifice you make for making it go further out is that it might start sounding like it's not hitting at the right time. And so I don't like that. So I usually keep it at 0.1 or 0.2 on the micro time. But this is what we have so far. We got this first beat juggle. I'm just going to duplicate this, make another, and then we're going to do time stretch and time stretch to make the granular effect. Copy the scene, paste the scene, change it to 4, copy the scene, paste the scene, change the rate to 32, copy the scene, paste the scene, and maybe we want to do a triplet, and change it to 48. That's what I want. Length 4 with rate 48. Bada bing, bada boom. Hyper effects, right? Beat juggling effects. We got our first 4 effects for the clean section. Now let's go ahead and move over here and do some beat repeats. Then let's head over here and do some stutters. Or what are we gonna do? Filters. I guess we're going to do some filters. We'll do some automated filters. You know, one of the problems with this particular template for me, and why this is like, I'm constructing this for you and not so much for me because I have my own workflow. But one of my problems with this particular workflow for me and my workflow is that I really do like to separate. This is great for my M8 tracker workflow because my M8, I just run it right in here, process the audio. Doesn't matter. Like, it's a master bus audio, so I use these types of effects a lot and a lot of master filters with M8 live track stuff. But when it comes to my Elektron stuff, I do really like to have oh, we were getting a feedback loop earlier. I like having the drums and the melody separated from each other. I think it's really useful and also allows me to design a different style of effects. My dog. So frustrating. But it is it's cool either way. So let's get into it. Right now we're gonna put in some beat repeat effects. And I really think I only need 2, so maybe we'll make like 2 clean effects, maybe we'll make 2 dirty effects. Let's start with the beat repeats. We're gonna go to track 1, we're gonna change this delay to a beat repeat delay. So I'm gonna leave ping pong off, I'm gonna turn tape off, I'm gonna turn lock on, and we're gonna turn feedback to 127. I'm gonna bring the send to 127, and now we're gonna play with time. So I want this to be my echo freeze, so I'm gonna set this to 16. And I'm going to filter it quite a bit. Filter it down to like 85. Let's have a listen. Oh, last part. Guys, have my send hit 0. Okay. Sounds good. Let's do another one. So let's go here. Let's do the same thing again. Send 0. We'll do 32. See, and maybe we'll just leave it without it echoing out. Maybe we want that to echo? Could be. Maybe we do want to filter this one. The echo, clean echo freeze is... The clean echo freeze works pretty good. Okay. Yeah, that's chill. Maybe we will echo freeze this one too. Let's see. Let's like have it really just fade out. What if it did that? What if I had an LFO do that? Let's try. Okay, let's do that. Let's go to our LFO. Let's set this to a saw. Let's target the delays base. Set it to trig sync. Or no. Maybe I want it to just be trig 1. We'll do a ramp. And that trig. Maybe we want this track to be longer so that we always get a retrig on that one. The delay base. Let's see. Let's try it. Let's make this longer. 4 bars. Which means I put a bunch of other triggers down. And let's go to LFO. Set it to trig sync trig. If you use trig sync trig, the advantage of trig sync trig is that it actually doesn't use triggers to reset the phase of your LFO. It uses the beginning of your track. So your track length determines when this phase of the LFO starts. And that's good because I can put triggers down and it will use the phase of the beginning of the track and ignore my trigs when I want to have a reset LFO. Cool tip, right? Zynga. Okay. Well, that went way too fast. There it is. As far as it goes. Might be that just sucks. Let's see. No, it's just not going all the way to the base. Why is that? Let's bring this to 16. No problem hitting the width. Certainly doesn't like doing that, huh? Well, let's forget that for now. I'm not going to spend all my time trying to get that delay to do that. To fade out like that. Seems useless. We like our 32 though. Let's see, maybe we'll just do this. Kind of a nice one. Maybe too much. Cool. Okay. That works. Let's go here and do another beat repeat effect. So I want to go send 0. I actually want time to be at, let's see how 64 feels. Yeah, and then the last one, same thing, time 100. Got our half note loop. What's cool, and a good tip about that is that if I hit this, stop all my machines, this loop keeps going, and what that means is that you can unplug wires, unplug MIDI stuff, change projects. This is gonna keep happening until I move the fader again, which is, I think, pretty useful. Throw my mic here. And hopefully you think it's pretty useful too. Of course, we should also have our keyboard set up as delay control, which is what we do. So our delay is right here. The green lights here, this denotes different tracks that have delays on them. We're only using one delay in this configuration, so it's just this one for us. So we can always do that, play with it live, but then we can design like effects here that we can count on to be in sync always. Cool. Here, I'll change songs so you don't have to get sick of it. Some trance. All right, let's do some filters. So we'll do some filters here, and then maybe we'll do some automated filters here. Like, let's do some manual filters. Call this beat. This is a dry erase magnet. I sell these on modbang.com, and you can write whatever you want on your effects on your Octatrack, and it just sticks right to your Octatrack. It's called user defined. I use it all the time. Helps me construct projects, and extremely useful. Okay, so let's do some filters. We got to put some effects in. So I already have a filter on track 2. I'm going to leave it there. And on effects 2, I guess I am going to leave the delay there and I'm going to change it to a tape delay. It is a tape delay. I'm going to change it to a ping pong delay and give it some feedback. Start at like 80. It's a good place. And the bass, and maybe remove a little bit of the highs. And move on to this one. And here we want to have something like, I think maybe we could play with the DJ EQ. And on this one, I want to use a lo-fi. So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to sample rate reduce or bit rate reduce, or I could do amplitude modulation if I want. Not extremely useful effect on an entire bus, so I kind of avoid doing amplitude modulation. But the bitrate reduction and sample rate reduction are fantastic on an incoming bus. I'll give you a little example. That sounds awesome. This is like, builds up noise. I think it's cool. So we can tie that into effects. Like, we could tie it into these beat juggle effects, but like we said, we're going to keep them a little clean for now. That's fun. All right, let's put a filter in. So I'm going to put a high pass filter here. We can actually have it play while we do it. Lots of resonance on high pass. You can get away with a lot of resonance on high pass filters. Sounds really good. Just leave it at 90, I guess. You know, I want to do like a low pass filter, but I never use low pass filters on my entire bus. I don't know. I mean, they're useful. I'd rather like scoop the lows rather than do a low filter. You know what I mean? So maybe we could try that. So maybe we could use the DJ mixer for this. Just remove the low end instead of high pass filter. Isn't that nice? That's much better, I think. Yes, so we got this. Classic acid high pass. And then we got just a low scoop. I think that works really well. So now we can, now that we have like these two basic effects, we got our low scoop, we got our high pass with resonance. We could do the high pass with resonance again, and we could add a delay to it. This is a really nice build-up effect. And mind you, everything that you put in your Octatrack, all 4 of these tracks, every machine you own, all of that will run through these effects. So we could start putting in music if we wanted here. I don't want to do that because it'll live inside this project and I'll have to erase it. Maybe it's worth doing though. You always gotta handle, if you do the echo freeze at the end, you gotta land on a snare or a kick. You'd love some, oh yeah, this is a good opportunity for me to talk with you guys a bit. Let's move this chat over here because it's much easier to read. This one over here. Okay. Okay, let me answer some questions, and I do want to get some feedback because maybe you do have some good feedback, and I can incorporate it into this template, and then you can download it. So let's check it out. Do you need to lock the LFO parameters to the scene for it to work? You do. But you do when you want to use it as a scene. You don't need to do it as you're designing an effect. So often I'll just turn parameters and I'll find something I like, and then I'll hold the scene down, push down on the encoder, it'll lock it in, and then I'll hold LFO and hit clear and clear the LFO back to 0. That way it's always set it as defaults. I work that way a lot. Can you pretty much get a great sounding performance rig out of those two? Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. I bet these template building walkthroughs are skyrocketing your watch time. I don't know. I hope so. Static first. Okay, let's go. Where can you get these MIDI cables? The ones that light up? Nowhere. You can get them from modbang.com in T-minus 5 or 6 weeks because I designed them. And yeah, this is my design of a MIDI cable. It uses passive electricity to power an LED. You'll get them soon. They will be pretty affordable, even with these awful tariffs. Okay, let's go. I run a DT and Virus TI combo, amazed at how many holes both of these machines can fill. That's great. What about throwing in one with timing that sounds a bit off as an option? Please elaborate on that. I'll come back to that question if you can elaborate a little bit more. Tomorrow you're playing Chef the first time. Hopefully it all works out. Nice. That's awesome. This would have been a waiting format. Let's go. All right. Oh yeah. What's up, dude? Some saturation effects. Okay, what do you mean by saturation effects? I know what that means, but what do you mean by saturation effects? What would you like a saturation effect to do? Future perfect music. Scene A is muted. Is that key for this template? That's key for my workflow. So here's let me talk about that really quick because this is important. So scene A is muted for me because I want all 16 of these effects. If I don't have scene A muted, then one of these effects is active on both sides of the crossfader at all times. So I mute the scene so that I can use all 16 as a dry wet effect. So it's always clean audio, play with my gear, no performance effects, performance effects. That's the purpose of it. A lot of people, when they're designing Octatrack scenes for their projects, they'll use a blank scene. So they'll have A assigned to 1, and then they'll just have nothing on scene 1 because they forget that they can mute it. And I've seen that countless times. And so I just avoid that. Okay, so saturation effects. We'll explore that really quickly because that sounds interesting. I don't know if it is or not. But so the saturation effects that we could get on here would be in the lo-fi, we have a distortion. And we do have a distortion in the filter, but the thing is about that is that if I turn distortion up on the filter, it permanently adds distortion to the project because you can't parameter lock that. It can be on a per part basis, but I don't want to have a part do a dynamic volume change. You know what I mean? Dialing in distortion, having to find some sort of reduction zone would change no matter what's putting into the Octatrack, right? If I had distortion on something with a lot of low end, it's going to increase that. A lot of high end, it's going to, you know, increase that in another way. And it just affects different, you know, frequencies in different ways. And so I can't really do that. But we could play with distortion, and this is again going to do that, but because it's an effect, that could be okay. We could let's try it really quick. So we could do a distortion filter, like distortion. It won't be post filter, that's the thing. It'll be pre-filter. But it could still sound cool, but we will have to do a volume reduction as well because it will increase the volume. Let's go to something else that might sound better with distortion. Ooh. This is still that filter effect, that's why. Blank scene. I mean, do we want that? Do we want just... I don't know. We'd have to bring the volume down as well. So let's go down as much as we went up. Let's see what happens. That seems like it's about unity. And it's saturated. We could just call this the dirty bird. Let's go over to 2. I don't need 2 delays. Let's turn this into... Oh, this is supposed to be a reverb, that's why. Dark reverb. Delay, we have a dark reverb for DJ EQ, which I really like having. So I would really like to have like a chorus, so I think the next set of effects we have to let go of the DJ EQ. Because that would sound really good here. How's that? Is that a good saturation effect? Does that work? Distortion would be, with delay would be cool. One to get some like wail. What? The Dirty Birds were just refire. Might be a little loud. Let's do a little more reduction. Wish I had a VU meter in front of me. I do have a VU meter in front of me. Look, it's actually slightly quieter. Okay, we're good. All right, we got a saturation. Maybe we should make it a saturation filter, since these were supposed to be filter effects, but it doesn't have to be. We're designing this right now from scratch, so we can do whatever we want. But maybe we can, yeah. Let's see what happens if we mix it with the DJ EQ. Does sound nice. That was a good effect. That was a good idea. I do appreciate that very much. Good call. Just a little dirt. And clean it up. Cool. Okay. Let's copy it and let's do something. Or let's take it and move it to 16, and then I'm gonna delete it. And let's go here and copy it, paste it, delete that, and then use a filter or a DJ EQ effect. Mid scoop. Oh, no, that increases the volume too much. Oddly, this mid scoop is actually increasing the volume of the track. Also sounds a bit resonant. Now we're down a lot. Let's bring it up. That's cool. Very high-end heavy. This is why it doesn't sound good on a master bus. What if we did that? What if that was like just a... It's crazy. See what happens if we throw an LFO on that. Let's use this ramp that we had. We want the amplitude. Lo-fi. Not depth. Where's the speed, yo? There it is. Trig ramp up. Oh, we're using the wrong ramp. Cool. That's a new effect. Very techno. have to like do it immediately though, because if you fade into it, like, do you want that? Do you want that to happen? This is supposed to be a reverb. I mean, a delay effect. I don't think this effect works, but we do have our nice saturation. Which does a pretty good job of keeping the volumes the same. A little bit high. Okay, cool. We'll keep the saturation because I think it's actually kind of sick. Okay. I would like to do some gating. We could actually, you want to see something cool? Check this out. All right, let's do some gating on this input, C&D input, which is this. So this would be an effect that would require you to have separated the audio. Maybe we don't want to do that, but we could see what it sounds like. Let's test it out really quick. We'll go to 13. I wanted to do gating effects, but I have to wait for the Ultimate Effects template and the new Hyper Effects template, dual bus version that I'm making, which will be absolutely insane, and I'm actually really excited to make that. I'll have beat juggling at one speed and beat juggling at another speed, the two different concepts. One beat juggling drums, one beat juggling melody, but one doing it at like quarter notes, one doing it at 16th notes. Then I can stereo spread them if I want. Drums over here, melody over here, switch them up, melody over here, drums over here, different speeds at different, I mean, pretty cool stuff. Not stuff you hear live very often. So I'm excited about that. Let's go to our LFO. We'll use LFO 3. We want to use an LFO design, I think. So we'll go to design here. And we want to go down, down. Just make a classic, simple stutter effect. We have to use the LFO designer because it's the only way to get unipolar LFOs. Then we go to LFO 3 and we select our LFO design. There it is. And set it to trig. We'll leave it at 1:1 for now and just kind of target source C and D. I want source C and D volume. That should be it. Might be an easier way to test it. There we go. What am I, mental? I wasn't... Oh, that's because it's LFO 3. Okay, so now we have beat stutters. Just a simple gate, but we could change the pattern, like make it like a triplet pattern. We went 48. Sounds a little clicky. It needs a rhythm. There we go. Oh, that's cool. All right, all right. 13, lock it in, turn to 0. Let's lock in 64 as well. We'll use sync trig, and then we'll put trigs for it to use. Copy them so that it's more consistent. Okay. I think it's cool to have the stutter effect in there on the drum bus. The problem with it is that this is a stereo sum. So only inputs C and D would have that effect, and which would effectively make it useless. So we can't keep it, but I really did enjoy testing it out and live on stream, and hopefully you learned something right there. Let's clear it out. All right, so we have 4 beat repeats. We have 4 juggle effects. For this track, let's see if we can. I think it's good. Like these 2 juggle effects, like they sound fine, clean. When you start to time stretch it, and like do this real beat juggle, like this is really moving it around. I think they do sound a little better with some effects and filtering on them. I didn't mean to do depth. Let's dirty these up too. Let's just make them all sound tasty. That's much better. I really feel like I'm missing a chorus. I really do like having 4 tracks to process my effects with and then do whatever I need to do on this side. We're sacrificing. We don't need to have hyper effects in this template. This could just be classic DJ effects. Do we need beat juggling? Do we need beat juggling? Somebody tell me. What does a scoop mean? It's like on an EQ. If you think about an EQ, the spectrum, if say I scooped out, like a literal scoop, like someone took a shovel and scooped out this part of the spectrum. Oh, there's my whale noises. Okay. Hi from France. What's up, France? Holy cow, what's the time expectations for these new templates? Well, if I like what I did today, what I do is I copy it to all 4 parts. I make an iteration on all 4 parts if I like the effects. And then I use my bank duplicator on my website, and then I release it on my Patreon as like a beta for a while. And while people use it, I get feedback, and then it gets released on Coffee, and then a final release. That's my typical process. It's slow because I do a lot of different stuff for my work and everything. It's slow also because I like to get a lot of feedback. Pacabellum Advanced Group 1. What's the best way to get it giga-poppin'? Yes, we need the beat juggling. Do we need the beat juggling? I know Advanced Group 1 thinks that's cool. Yes, you need it, Blake. I would say the beat juggling if you have 2 drum machines or drums and a sampler, both doing drum duties. I like to see is set drum machines doing similar beats and juggling back and forth between them. That is going to be the other the beat juggling template that I'm making. It's like the dual bus hyper effects template. That's going to be what you're after, Aaron. This one, like the point of this template is to have like some classic effects. I have these like, you know, echo freezes. We have beat repeats. So echo freeze, 2 echo freezes, a high pass echo freeze, a low pass echo freeze, 1 at 16th notes, 1 at 32nd notes. Then we have 2 beat repeats that just hold audio and let it repeat. Then we have 4 juggle effects, 2 of them just beat juggling at quarter notes, but repeating at 16 and quarter notes. And 2 of them time stretching it, kind of granulizing it, 1 of them a triplet. Over here, we start making filters, right? And then we want to have some automated filters that like work over a span of like 4 bars so that when you crossfade over, it just does the work for you and it gives you a crescendo. Because a lot of times that's hard to do when you have multiple machines, and so the Octatrack can handle that duty. So we need to do that, and that'll be an important effect. I want them all to sound really good, and I feel like what I'm missing is like I feel like I'm missing a chorus. I got my lo-fi, which I really like. I got my filter. Do I need a filter? I mean, I could replace the filter with the DJ filter. I could put the chorus on here. An idiot. It's really because I want chorus on the beat repeats. Like this sounds great with chorus. There we go. I also want chorus on that. Let's mess this one up. Also use chorus. That sounds good. Chorus because it sounds good. We can make it lighter than the last one. do like the 13 speed the Elektron shows. That's pretty cool. Needs to be filtered though. No, we don't leave our highs. That was a cool effect. Okay. Let's go to a new song. Yeah. Okay, let's do some automated effects. Let's do one where it takes a high pass filter and it starts closed and then it opens, but then has reverb and like it has reverb. Okay. Okay, let's do that. Let's go here. What am I doing on my LFO? We use LFO 1, set this to filter width or filter base. Yes, and we want to do, it's easy to do a ramp because I know the time for ramp. Set it to trig sync. Is this a, how long is this track? Track is 1 bar. Let's make the track 4 bars. Yeah, that works. Let's make the track 4 bars. And then we want to filter it way down. I want to invoke a ramp. Okay. Speed should be 16. Here we go. That's the effect. We wait every 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Auto filter. Bam. Okay. So now we can throw like a reverb on it. We can throw a reverb and a delay on it. I always go delay and a reverb. I think that's a smart move. Let's bring that reverb time like way up, but then we need a massive filtering on the reverb because it's just nasty. It's a nasty one. Let's listen. Maybe we don't high pass the, like, or use resonance on the high pass. Yeah, that's way cleaner. Sick. Let's keep that. Oh, let's have a listen again. That's very bassy. Now we can just high pass a bit. Cool. Our low end keeps the highs. I dig that. We could do another one, copy this one, actually. Okay, maybe we have the last 4 effects be auto filters. Including saturation, we'll just call that a filter because it does change the sound. And I kind of want to take this, copy it, see what happens if we add some like delay to it. Why does it still gotta do that? One trick you can do is leave the volume all the way down, and then you bring the volume up for your effects. Then you don't get that whip, 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 whip sound. Okay, let me get an opinion from you folks, if there's enough people watching this. Do we want to have tail? Do we want our delay to have a tail? Or do we just want our reverb to have a tail? Or do we want neither of them to have tails? Do we want the effect to only be in effect when the crossfader is engaged? Because we could leave it engaged, but then we can't change the delay time without creating that whip, 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 like tape spinny sound, because it's a terrible sound. Or I can switch from digital delay, from tape delay to digital delay. Maybe that could be the answer. Or what do we prefer? You know, like what kind of effects would we like more in that situation? Just ordered EL1 and EL2 last night with some cables. Oh yeah, I gotta pack that up actually and get that out to you. I don't think it's possible to set Q to the crossfader. It is not possible to set Q to the crossfader. Wonder if you could fudge it somehow by sharing or copying a record buffer between 2 tracks, one assigned to CD and the other assigned to Q, and just have the crossfader affect their volumes. You can do that. Well, I don't know why you'd want to do that. I don't know what the goal is there. Can we have 9 tails? How Naruto of you. How absolutely Naruto. I'm all for the whip, whip, whip. You're all for the whip, whip, whip? Honestly? Can you recommend a standalone effects unit? Not the Octatrack. Way too complicated. Cheers for me. It's not too complicated. I make it very easy. You just literally do this and go like that. It's so easy. I did all the work for you. One that's, can I recommend? There's not very many good ones. There's the RMX 1000. I think that's probably harder than what I've built, but you could get that. It has better filter sounds. It has some better delay sounds. It's a more updated effects unit when it comes to the actual effects. Digital delay would be more clean. It would be a lot more clean. And I guess this is supposed to be the clean section, even though I started dirtying things up. But that's because I think it doesn't sound as good without it. They're just, the effects are old, you know? We have to, if we want to enjoy some of them, we got to kind of dirty them up. Let's try it with let's go back and try, let's bring our volume back up on our delay. And let's switch it over to the digital delay. Yeah, that does work. Maybe we just stick with that. So I want to be able to play with the delay time. Does sound good. We could even do more of a reduction. Yeah, how about that? So that's like your auto transition. Try it again. Let's do it. Totally works. That should scream a lot more than that. You know what I mean? It's just a simple high pass. Yeah, maybe we do that. That's pretty cool. Sounds useful too. So we did a triplet timing, 12. Sounds better on the 16th note. I think we need that depth up higher. That totally nailed it. Function part save. Doing good work here. Where's our time? Where are we at? One hour and 17. Let's keep going. I guess it's time to crack open a bubbly, huh? Sponsor me. Sample that. Okay. Let's use this on some M8 tracker songs. I'm getting a little sick of the Elektron tunes. Switch it up. Write some more effects this way. Okay. We only have a couple more left. We got our. Let's go back to this. I want to hear how this sounds on the M8. dB. It's kind of nice. I mean, dirties it up a bit. Maybe more filters. Let's do a low pass thing. I've kind of avoided it. That works so good. That was good. Let's do the low pass version. Can't do much resonance on low pass. Maybe we don't use a low pass. Maybe we use the DJ filter. Get out of here. Oh wait, low pass. What am I doing? I'm getting rid of the lows. I'm gonna get rid of the highs. I feel like we kind of set this on fire somehow. Whoa. The filter comes after the delay. Let's load a new track. That's cool. Why is the effect still engaged? Oh, the LFO. Oh, that one's so good. Okay. I mean, is that effect stupid? Sounds kind of cool. How much is being taken out? 44? We leave it at 44, it should bring it back to 0. Maybe it's just a dumb effect. dual filter. It's kind of cool. Volume boost needs to happen. What can we put here? I guess we have that reverb. Ugh. So resonant. It's a really powerful filter. It might be too strong. Sounds awesome though. Really like it. That's pretty cool. So, wait. Oh, we can't do that. Super resonant in the middle. Not a bad filter though. Maybe we play with the How useful is that? There's our distortion effect. actually dig it now. Okay, we need to play with, I want to show off that what happens if we use like a sound in here. So if I take this and put it in here and put a trigger down, how cool is that? This is a sample playing on the Octatrack running through an entire bus of effects. And just to remind you what you have to do, you take your cue out, you run it out back into whatever device is running into A, B, C, and D, and make sure that your audio is set to Cue Config Studio. And then you can have these tracks all turned up the cue and the volume of the track turned down. You just do that across all 4 tracks and you'll have a hybrid performance template. So what we went over in this particular scenario is how to do beat repeat effects, how to do beat juggling effects, how to do filter effects, how to do some modulated filter effects using sync trig, and how to build out this section here of effects using one live resample effect with time stretch effects here. Half of that is time stretch. And then these are all just static tracks that are all set to go out the cue output. And this is how you build a hybrid performance template. And we have one bank finished. And now we need to make another bank. And the next bank, I think, will be more DJ oriented. This is bank 2, so we'll name it something else. It's not finished, but it's close to finished. It only has a couple effects left. Maybe we'll call this... Maybe this, we were going to make a clean one, and this ended up being kind of dirty sounding. Whoops. Pretty cool. We're pretty close too. This is that high sweep in the reverb. Oh, it sounds really good. Sounds really good. Surprise. Maybe we do that effect again, but with a low pass. Let's do that. Let's try that. So this one just used a regular high pass filter. Let's just go low pass and do the same thing, but invert it. No cue though. Do we want to go to silence? Do DJ filters usually go to like complete silence ever, or you just bring it down to like to just the subs? Never owned a DJ filter or a DJ mixer. Here's our auto filter from low to high pass. It's really nice sounding. All right. Let's see what it sounds like with reverb on it. Or we could try delay. Oh. Oh my god. What are those little clicks from, though? That's nice. That's dope. Maybe that sounds a little too much. Oh man, that's a good effect. So is that. That's a really good automated effect. Damn. These actually turned out really good. Some dirt. Yes. Save this. Save this whole project. I think we're getting close. This might actually be the 4x4 template that I end up releasing. Oh yeah, that's right. It sounds almost identical. Why do I have two of the same filter? What does this one even do? Stupid. Oh. I mean, is that useful? Is our low, like a low pass? Could be that, or it could be this. Oh yeah, this one needs to have that LFO turned up. we go. Not bad. Okay, we can go to a new song. Let's try... Might be too dirty. That song is short and unfinished. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I think the kind of effects that we're missing is like these effects that grab a moment in time and build up. I didn't have any of those, so like I'm gonna delete one of these and put one of those in. I might delete this one. This one seems pretty cool. I want to keep it. I think that's a pretty decent one too. I think that's the best one. Definitely keeping that. I guess it's this one. Okay. So this is a cool effect we're gonna build. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lock in the audio here. So okay, but what we're gonna do is filter it down to nothing. Yeah. 60. We already have a ramp for it. So now we got this build up that it makes. I think 64 is where we want it. If we throw a delay on it, it makes it wonk. Set the delay to like really short. So cool. All right. save that. Maybe we should lean heavier into these effects. Oh wait. We need the clock running. Wamp, wamp, wow. Thick. Okay, cool. We got some more automated. So we got 3 automated effects. Let's make 4 automated effects. Oh, this one's really so smooth. Okay, let's take the same idea on this one and let's do like a shorter time. Make it like a really fast build up. Lock to 0. Maybe we'll get a little more creative with some of the filtering. And we could distort it, just sample it, reduce it. It's not post sample rate, so not super useful. Want it to scream more. So sick, oh my god. Let's see. It's kind of pretty. Maybe even pretty enough to have reverb? Here we go. Come on. Oh, the clock's not running. Whoops, I stopped the clock. That's the perfect spot to test that. Here we go. Test it again. Sick. Okay. Let's do another song. Gotta turn on the clock. Alright, let's do some dub. Some dub techno and see what happens. Keep the tails? Alright. Music is terrific. Thank you. Progress feels good. I think so too. We got really far, didn't we? We almost built a whole template. Well, we built a whole section of the template. Just really started performing consistently with the dawless setup, and a great part of the dynamics I'm able to add are these. Thanks to the hybrid performance template. Just wanted to thank you. You're welcome, Fernando. Happy to help. Rumors are Elektron Tonewerk? I don't know about that. What about a song ender effect? Like a tape stop? We can do that easy. I usually add tape stops to the performance template, but I do it in a particular section. But we can do that. I think the next, we're gonna move on. Oh, we're almost out of time. We were gonna move on to the next section. I mean, I could keep going. I honestly am not feeling tired at all. 3-hour long videos? Hard for people. Alright, I think maybe we do want to turn these into flex tracks. Why is the sentence like that? Save it. Let's just copy. Let me see what was on part 1. Did I like anything on part 1? No. Part 1 sucks. Clear it. Part 2. What happened to my part 2? Did I clear my... No. Oh. Funny. Funny! You know how long that could have taken me to figure out what was wrong? That it was a green trigger instead of a red trigger? That could have been forever. I'm very lucky. effects is good. I haven't had this in any of my templates. I don't know why I haven't put that in other templates. It's a great effect. Such a classic effect. Everybody knows this effect. You can hear it doing that erosion though. And that's because it's not a tape delay. It goes wah wah. I hate that. We do tape though. We get that whoa 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 whoa, and maybe people like that more. It's kind of cool. Maybe we'll keep it that way. Okay. Different song. I'm not very far on that song. Oh, my kid is crying. I'm also not finished with this song. Is it loud enough? Let's see. Okay. That's kind of cool. Sounding good. Oh, man. That's the thing, if you do that, like... Whatever. We'll leave it for now. Take this part, copy this part, go to this part, and paste the part, go to this part. Now we have a... duplication. Dope. Alright, we're gonna go back to this song, because it's just so it's so full. It's just easy to get this work done. We're gonna remove DJ filter on this part. Chorus. First thing we're gonna do is use this beat repeat at chorus. Scoop it. Okay, so we need to mess this up. It'll let me go up one semitone. Kinda cool. let's just like... Put a new effect on this. Mid-side gain. Maybe not so much. Okay. So let's turn that off. Maybe we should have the more experimental stuff not be on the first part. How cool is that? That we can just throw audio on these tracks and they get processed by all the effects, including a small bank of hyper effects. B repeats, hyper effects, filters, automated filters. I think that this is a pretty good start for the hybrid 4x4 template. In fact, I'll keep working on it today. I'm gonna let everybody go because it's been over 2 hours. But I'll keep working on it today. I'll upload the beta to my Patreon. That's patreon.com/EZBOT. If you're interested in testing this out in its current form, get rid of that. And I'm gonna turn these into flex tracks. Maybe I'll do 2 flex tracks, 2 static tracks, just to like. Maybe that's a good idea. So sampling static tracks, people probably like that, right? I'll do a little work for them. We'll turn slice on. We'll go ahead and put the recording buffers assigned, so you don't even have to think. You just start sampling. We'll go here and do the same thing. Slice on. And flex track, assign the recording buffers. We could even put, want to slice? We could even put recorder tricks down for folks. Because why not? Do some favors on these 2 tracks. We can assign them. Set them to 64. Trig 1, 2 works. We want to record post input, so we'll do that. We'll set it to record track 3. And we want that to happen on both. So record track 3, trig 1, 2, set it to 4 bars just to make things easy on folks. These are now both set up to do that. Cool. So now all we have to do, check this out. Okay. I'm recording this. Oof. But it doubles up the audio, right? Because I was recording it and then it started playing. But now I could not have this play and just do this. They both recorded the same source. Hang on. God damn it, it recorded itself. I just want to... I don't want to have a playback trigger. Thank you. I just want this one to record. Okay, I'm recording a 4-bar loop on track 5 from the M8 tracker. All right, we got it. Let's put a trigger down. Yeah, let me take a look here. Oh, I know why it's louder. It's a little bit louder because this is a little bit louder than this. That's funny. It's because the M8 is going in through my Digitact, going through my Octatrack, or going through, yeah, going through my Octatrack, going through my Digatone, and then to my Octatrack. So there's all these gain stage things that's happening. So that's why this isn't unity gain. It's a little bit louder here. But that doesn't matter. Because you would just, these are static tracks. You just adjust the amp or whatever. We want it to play for longer, right? Why are these tracks so short? Let's fix that. I do that to both tracks. Now we got to remove those triggers. Do we make triggers? Not on that one. We did make recorder triggers, though. We don't need playback trigs. Just record trigs. Get rid of these. Did I just delete the wrong one? Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. Bring that amp back to where it's supposed to be. Save. We have to do that to both parts. So part 2 now. Do the same thing. Quarter, trig, it's already got that. Oh yeah, that's on the sequencer, that's right. We just set this up. Track 3, record length 4. Track 3. I could not do the R length, and we could actually just do quantize record, and then you could pick whatever length and just it will record based on the pattern length, but I'll let other people decide that. They're just supposed to be flex tracks. Slice on. Slice on. Oops. Recording buffer 5. Recording buffer 6. Part save 1. Cool. All right. 2 hours of hardcore Octatracking. If you're a fan of the Octatrack or you like to build your own performance effects or you're trying to do a dawless setup, this video was made for you. My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT. I make performance templates for the Octatrack, among other things, tutorials, sample packs, stuff like that. Mostly Elektron and M8 tracker related and some Elektron stuff or modular stuff I work with. And you can pick up these cool MIDI cables in about a month or so when they arrive. It took me about a year to design them, and I finally committed to a design, and they're here. The demos are here, and I love them. If you want to grab these, and I'm talking about these light up MIDI cables, and if you want to get these cool magnets, they're available on modbang.com. That's going to be it. Everybody have a great time. This beta version of this template I will put on Patreon tonight, and you can join the Patreon and try it out for yourself and make adjustments and do whatever you want. There's only going to be 1.5 parts completed, so about 20 something effects, and you watched all of them get created from scratch right here. So you should know how to alter them too by watching the video. All right, everybody, have a great day, and talk again soon.